Hey guys, it's TSS here, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Second Assault DLC for Battlefield 4. In the Second Assault DLC, they've remade 4 of the fan favourite maps. I'm not sure that's true, but we'll get into that later, from BF3. So there are 4 maps that have been included in this DLC, and one of them is Operation Metro. Now, Operation Metro has had quite a huge revamp from Battlefield 3, and obviously there's no blue tint in Battlefield 4, so that's one of the main advantages of the Battlefield 4 version of this Operation Metro map. Now, one of the main additions that they made to this map is that there are now a few Levolution moments that do go on in the map, and bearing in mind from BF3, one of the main selling points of the game was the destruction. This was extremely lacking from this map, and well, there wasn't really any at all, to be honest. One of the things that they've done is that they've added in a few areas where you can destroy some of the pillars that are holding up the now destroyed roof of the Metro. And I'm pretty sure that one of the issues is that you can team kill with this. I've heard this, and I think it's happened to me a few times. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe something else happened. But this is extremely annoying if that is the case, because getting team killed is not a fun part of Battlefield, and everyone knows that. But obviously it does kind of add to that whole level of immersion, which is quite good, really on one hand. And also, like, another thing they've got is that there's like a few buttons that you can press to turn off the lights in some of the alleyways, which isn't really amazing, but at the same time it's still Evolution, and it's still, you know, it's still good. It's nothing bad. It's not detracted from the game in any way. It's done more good than bad. Another improvement that they've made to this map, which is definitely an improvement, even though it's not that great, is that they've added an extra alleyway leading into that main middle area around B, which it's only an alleyway, so you can't carry too many people down there, so it's not going to completely stop it from being a meat grinder. So if you did like that, then don't worry, because it's not going to be changed too drastically. But it does just mean that you're not going to get stuck there for the entire map. You know, there is a little flanking route if you want to go down there, and if you can go down there. And another thing that they've done to this map, for the same reason as the alleyway, is that if you ever notice on BF3, at the top of the escalators there's a few lifts, and what they've done is they made it so you can now use those, because if you ever noticed in BF3, you would often get people camping at the top of those escalators, waiting for you to come up them, and you would obviously get killed by them a lot of the time. So if you come up from the lift, you can then stop them from killing you. You can stop them from camping at the top of it, which does free the map up quite a lot, which is good. But I will admit, I was very disappointed with this map. I mean, I originally played on Xbox 360 when Battlefield 3 was out. I only upgraded to a PC this year. So, having played it on 24 players on console, it was undoubtedly my favourite map for console, because obviously it didn't feel like I was sitting there searching for players all of the time. And I could actually play Conquest on this map, because obviously on most of the maps on console, if you ever played it, it is impossible to find people. So I loved it in that respect. But coming to this, playing on 64 players, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel quite as fun as I remember it being. Now, I'm not sure whether it's down to being the fault of the changes they made to the map, or whether or not it's just because now I've been able to play the other maps with 64 players, this one suddenly doesn't feel quite as intense. But I don't seem to enjoy it. I mean, 64 players on this is just so close quarters, you know, there are people everywhere that you can kill, you know. It is just like playing bumper cars on a map, it's just crazy. So I think that this is definitely one of my least favourite maps from the Second Assault DLC, but that's not to say this map is bad. In fact, it is still a very, very good map, but only for 24 players if you're still playing on Xbox 360 or PS3. So I think maybe at some point I'll go back to 24 players on like a 24 player server, for example, and have a bit of fun there. And also I might try Rush on this again as well, because if you didn't know, Rush on BF3 Metro was definitely, easily the most played map on BF3. It was just played all the time, on Xbox 360 anyway. It was great. So this is definitely a good map, and I would advise that you play it. So now let's move on to Caspian Border, and I absolutely despise this map back in BF3, because obviously I couldn't find anyone playing on 24-man servers, but nowadays on BF4, playing on 64-man servers, this is undoubtedly my favourite map of the Second Assault DLC. It is just absolutely phenomenally balanced, you know. If you want to go for infantry gameplay, you can go on the hill flag. I'm not sure what one that is, and then you can go for your action-packed, more like vehicle gameplay in some of the other areas. It's just great because there's a bit of everything in this map. And they've also made a lot of changes in this map as well. This map suffered most out of all of the maps, in my opinion, from the blue tint. And obviously that has been completely removed, and now it is extremely colourful. You know, there's so many details in this map that you wouldn't have seen on the Battlefield 3 version. And now, what is in my opinion the best thing about this map is that now Caspian Border actually does live up to its name, and it is now like a proper border. There is like a proper wall that goes across it, and it's, you know, you can imagine that you have to go through it. It's like a checkpoint rather than that sort of just it's a little gateway on a main road. It's just lives up to its name a lot more. Although this has opened up a huge number of issues though with the map, because nowadays what happens is I was playing in a server at one point and all of my team, all of my squad points are in one of the towers, like similar to one that I'm looking at now or am in now, and it's really annoying because they're just snipers that sit here camping and just trying to shoot people out. But it doesn't work very well whatsoever because obviously it's not in the best position. So if your team likes sniping, then you are going to lose. You are going to lose horribly. So that's one of the downsides of this wall. But as you can see now, it's quite a good place where you can hold off from. It is kind of like a fort. It is extremely easy to defend and hard to attack, which is kind of good in that respect. It does add to the gameplay. It does add another element of tactics into it. And one of the other things that they've done to improve this map, or add to this map, is they've added a huge little tower on the hill flag. As I said, I'm not really too sure what letter that is. But obviously you can blow this up. You can set a timer on this like warhead that's underneath, which is another thing they've added, as well as a few other ways up to the hill. And this can blow up, and depending on, I'm not really sure what sets it off, but it can fall either way. But personally, I've only ever experienced it fall into the wall, but I'm not sure whether that's just me, or maybe I'm completely wrong and it can only fall that way. But I have seen in YouTube videos, I've seen it fall in the opposite direction, which I don't really understand how to do it. But I really do hope that it can go in both directions, because I think that would add an entirely new element of tactics into this map, because obviously if you have it aiming upwards the hill on your side towards your spawn, then you are at a huge advantage to attack this objective, and this is one of the main objectives on the map because it obviously is the highest point on the map. So if you have an extra route to get up to it, then you are at a huge advantage over the opposition. So as I did say earlier, this is undoubtedly my favourite map from the Second Assault DLC, mainly because it is so well balanced in every single way for Conquest Large. I haven't played it on Rush yet because I didn't really like it for Rush on BF3, but I would definitely advise that you even get this map pack purely for Caspian Border, because it is just that good. So now we're going to move on to Operation Firestorm. Now this map has really confused me as to why they brought it in. I thought this was meant to be the fan favourite maps from BF3 that added into the Second Assault DLC for BF4, but I do not know a single person who turns around and says, oh, my favourite map on BF3 was undoubtedly Operation Firestorm. And if someone did say that, I would probably punch them in the face. They were wrong. This was in no way the best map from BF3. It was just the land of rectangles, you know. It was just boxes everywhere. There's nothing interesting about this map whatsoever. Although they have changed this map in quite a few ways. For example, it does now live up to its name, Operation Firestorm, and as you can see there are several fires going on, but I don't really see how that's going to add to the gameplay in any way. And apart from this, the map has been largely unchanged. They have added in a few Levolution moments here and there, like for example, on the left of your screen now, you can kind of see there's a big tower, and you can kind of set that on fire the top of it by pressing a button, which really isn't particularly interesting. And as you're about to see now, there is this huge Levolution moment, but this happens on the side of the map, so obviously, if it happens on the side of the map, it's not really the focal point. It's not like in Siege of Shanghai where it completely changes the map. It's just kind of cool, it's just a big explosion and something happens, so it hasn't added to the gameplay whatsoever, which kind of upsets me, to be honest. And I really don't know what convinced them to bring this map back rather than, for example, Scene Crossing, which was definitely my favourite map from BF3 if I remember it from when I was playing 24 players, because I just love that map so much. Either that or Grand Bazaar, that was a brilliant map as well. That was just a kind of small map that was brilliant for Conquest as well. Now the last and definitely not least map is Gulf of Oman. Now I know I said that Caspian Border was my favourite map. This is also my favourite map of the Second Assault DLC because they are both exactly the same in my opinion. They are both they're both brilliant maps. And coming from playing Xbox 360, I never used to play this map very much at all because obviously this map was huge and you couldn't find anyone who used to play on 24-man servers. But coming onto this when I'm playing 64-man games, it is just absolutely crazy. It's so much fun, like you wouldn't even know. This map is just that perfect balance between vehicle warfare and infantry gameplay. It is just so brilliantly balanced. You can go into some places for infantry gameplay and you can go into other places, like for example along this main road that I'm on now, for your vehicle gameplay. It is just brilliantly balanced, and obviously the Levolution moments that they've added in have hugely changed up this map. I know for a fact that in BF3, snipers used to be everywhere on this map, and that was a huge problem with it for a lot of people, including me when I occasionally used to play it. But now because of the sandstorm they've introduced, It reduces visibility so much to the point that if you're going to snipe, you're going to find it very, very difficult to get anyone at longer ranges, which ultimately is what a sniper is used for. So it does stop that whole issue, which is a great thing. And obviously, it is a passing storm. You know, like as you can see here, the storm has come through, so you can still see it's different to when it starts. It's still not quite as clear, but it's not like raging. You know, you can still see at medium ranges, unlike you could when it's going properly. Now, I have heard that there is another Levolution moment on Flag E, but I'm yet to see that happen, because I've heard that you can do something with the counterweights and make that crane fall down, but I've never seen that happen myself, and I don't know how to do it, but hopefully, if I do find it out, I'll bring that out in another video, maybe at the start or something, and I'll talk about it and I'll show you that. But as I said, unfortunately, I still haven't seen that Levolution moment happen, but it sounds pretty cool if it is there. Now, my favourite thing about this map is that it is kind of like an Afghanistani map, you know, it's like, I would be more likely to see a war here than anywhere else, than any other maps, which I do love because it just kind of, to me, it just makes it feel a lot more immersive, which I do love about a game. But overall, this map pack is extremely brilliant, you know. The maps are a breath of fresh air from the other ones we've got, and I would strongly advise that you go and get it. I extremely enjoy playing 3 out of 4 of the maps, and for me that's a win. So for that reason, I'm going to say you should buy it. And I've been TSS, leave your comments down below, and for now, goodbye.